How's it going, everybody? This is the Discord League World Cup, and this is a matchup between Canada and France, both who are 0-1 right now. I can't see exactly what the scores are. I know that France has already won at least one game. I don't know about the rest of them. I'll go ahead and refresh here, but while we're waiting for the players to start, let's go ahead and take the list. We're going to have Zarzuckett versus Nobu. So this is Zarzuckett's list. He's on Crane. And if you guys were watching my stream this past weekend, we did a little feature on this deck. This is your kind of standard Crane kill deck. So you're going to see the Scorpion Splash here with you know, the good Scorpion stuff. And most importantly, it's this Mark of Shame right here. And that's really what enables you to set up some of these kills with Noble Sacrifice and Duel to the Death. The idea of this deck is you're killing your opponent's dudes. And it's pretty straightforward. You want to kill them so that they don't have a board, and then you kind of just wreck them and you know, just win on value in that sense. Meanwhile, on the Unicorn side, this is an HMT deck. This is Charles 6 L5R. This appears to be kind of standard HMT aggro. It is the Lion Splash, so it's going to be the wide build. So you're going to see a lot of cheaper dudes here. It's kind of hard to tell because 5 Rings doesn't organize by fate cost, but it's going to be a lot of mostly cheaper stuff. But at the same time, he does have 3x join the fray. He does have the 3x strength in numbers, so expect this deck to be very aggressive. I think these decks tend to generally have an advantage over Crane decks that are a little slower and focused on killing. It's less impactful to kill things when there's like 10 million things on the board, right? So, alright. Looks like the players have started. We'll go ahead and enhance for you guys over at home. Thank you guys for watching again. And hope you guys are enjoying this World Cup action so far. Eric in chat saying, I was just saying this afternoon, this Crane deck seems bad versus HMT. Yeah. Like I was saying earlier, you know, killing stuff only does you so much good when there are a million things on the board. One good thing is that this deck does have 2x Assassinate, which most decks nowadays are not running so many of Assassinate just because of the presence of Scorpion. But you really want to do what you can to limit the number of things that are on your opponent's board when you're playing this kind of deck. So Assassinate could come in clutch here for sure. But everything else, you know, the Noble Sacrifice and Mark of Shame feels a lot less impactful when things are just going to be leaving the board at the end of the turn anyway, right? Alright, so we're going to see some flops here for Nobu and for Zarzuckett. So first player is Zarzuckett. He's going to get the first chance to buy here. Let's take a look at what he's got. So far he's got this Brash Samurai here and the Mia Mystic, as well as a Yoshi and the Doji Challenger. So I would expect to see probably one of these two things being bought, either the Challenger or the Samurai. Brash Samurai, always a very good turn 1 buy. This deck does run Tessin, so you definitely get a lot of value out of that, and so you can use it as a blocker, make him pretty big, and just restand him with a Tessin. But he obviously goes for the Challenger instead. I guess as first player, that's a pretty solid buy. Meanwhile, Shinjo Gunso coming out for Nobu, which finds him a Mia Mystic. Probably not the best thing you could have found there. And let's take a look at this discard to see what else he pitched. It was a Keeper, Tetsuko, and Chagatai. So the only thing available there was the Keeper or the Mia Mystic. So at least go for the one who has a little bit more value in, or potential value in this kind of matchup. You can at least kill a random Tessin, or I think this deck is on Katanas. It might be fans. I've lost my Jigoku window. Alright, 5 bids on both sides. I would expect nothing less. And so let's take a look at the rest of Nobu's row here. So it is important because he does have Join the Fray. And so either of these two Minamikaze regulars could show up in a fight at any given time. Meanwhile, he's also got this Border Rider here and a Yurt. He didn't yurt. I guess. How does that interact, chat? Does yurt still refill if the rest of City of the Rich Frog is not empty? I think no, correct? So that's a little unfortunate there, seeing the yurt on a province that wouldn't be able to be refilled. Yeah, chat confirming, yeah, it has to be empty for it to actually work, so. It's the definition of refilling. Yes, that's true. Although, I'm not, oh, whatever. It's fine, we'll leave it at that. So, first conflict here, most likely, yes, we are going to see this Doji Challenger go in. Go into the City of the Rich Frog, we know it's safe. He's going to attack in on political, on water. This is going to let him bow out both things here. Honors of the Doji Challenger to turn on Voice of Honor if he has it. This will also let him break the City of the Rich Frog. We see the yurt being used, because otherwise it wouldn't be used. I guess both players can just go ahead and have 2 honor. It's not going to make a big difference in this matchup. Honor doesn't really come into play here. So we're pulling in the Gunso. And we're going to bow out the Mia Mystic. So, good start for Zarzuckett here. I think it is interesting that he decided to go with a wider board to start out with. I think that's smart. Go for a wider board with less fade on it. That way you have more opportunities to fight against your opponent, give them more of a threat, because the game is not going to last long enough for you to really, I guess, keep things around. You know, if you think about it this way, if the game is going to end on turn 3, and you put 3 fate on something, that's sort of one extra fate that didn't need to be there. Alright, so Tessin on the Gunso lets him get a second attack in, but it's going to be a UA. Zarzuckett probably considering defending here. He does not have fate for a Tessin, so if he defends with the Brash Samurai, that's going to be it for this conflict. Meanwhile, if he does not defend, that's a free HMT trigger for Ide Nobu. And so we see the Brash Samurai being clicked on. Let's see if that means he's going to go ahead and honor up. 5 fate still remaining for the Unicorn player here. How many assassinate for Crane? This deck listed on 2 assassinates. So hypothetically, I guess, like if you had to assassinate in hand 2, you could just not defend and just go ahead and get rid of this Gunso. But he's just going to defend with the Brash Samurai, go ahead and honor up. If there's no way for him to actually win this conflict, then that'd be pretty huge for Zarzuckett. Threat of Voice definitely very real right now. 2 honored characters to 0. And so spending something like Join the Fray to win this conflict seems not so great. And there's the Ambusher to prevent the UA trigger. So HMT currently active right now. He's winning the conflict with more characters in play. Wonder if Nobu has another Tessin for a character. Otherwise, why not attack Void? That's a good question. Fire doesn't seem like the best thing. Oh no, well he's attacking Fire because he has 2 keepers, right? He has the 1 keeper right here and the other keeper in the bin. So Fire seems like a pretty good choice if he wants to get that second attack in for sure. Meanwhile, chat pointing out that we have a new card spoiled by the Imperial Advisor on the Discord. We'll take a look and see what that is. I'll go ahead and throw it up on the stream in a little bit. For those of you who are on Facebook or on Discord, you probably also saw that I myself am going to have a spoiler to show this Sunday during our episode of L5R Lounge. It will be a Lion spoiler. It's a very juicy one, so that's definitely a reason to come tune in and check out the stream on Sunday. Alright, so the strength of numbers sends home the Brash Samurai, so UA will break with no repercussions here. We're going to see the HMT trigger, and now we're going to see two keepers come out. We're going to dishonor this Brash Samurai too, since he already honored himself. Now these two keepers can come in on military or political, either one. Probably you want to go military here, and you'll be able to outskill the Brash Samurai. But right now Zarzuckett actually able to make his own attack, and he's going to go military. Going Void here. Rally to the cause in the row. This is an interesting choice. You know, it's always nice to give yourself an extra military conflict, if possible. Usually, for the Water Province right now, you're seeing a lot of unicorns running Midnight Revels, or they're running Endless Plains. There's a case for both. But Rally certainly, you know, worth consideration. And now we're going to see a Miyako come down over this Dochi Challenger. And it's going to dishonor one of these keepers. That should help him stave off this next conflict. So we're actually going to see the other keeper hit this Market of Kaze no Kami, which is going to go ahead and bow him out. Meanwhile, it's a conflict with zero skill. But zero skill doesn't mean anything, right? Because you can always have some other way to put another character into the conflict. Whether it's a conflict character or join the fray. Cavalry Reserves doesn't seem like a great idea right now, but we are going to see join the fray, and I would expect... Oh, no voice available for Zarzuckett. Kind of unfortunate here. It's gonna net some fate and a card for Nobu. Curved Blade goes onto this thing as well, so that's definitely a break here. And I wonder, there's no way for Zarzuckett to dishonor this regulars, and he wouldn't have the fate to kill it anyway. So right now he would have to spend like a bonsai or something if he wants to stop this from breaking. It looks like no response available. Tessin is discarded, so he did have the Tessin, he just didn't have the fate to use it. But Earthring does go off. Discards that Tessin, and that's going to be a second break on the Market of Kaze no Kami. So, one more conflict available for Ide Nobu. You would have to have another conflict character or another Tessin to get something out of this. But it looks like he doesn't have either. He's going to go ahead and pass. So definitely not the worst start for Zarzuckett. He did manage to get one break for himself, and he only lost 2 provinces. A lot of cards kind of spent for Nobu, but on Nobu's side, he's actually up 2 fate and still even on cards. Zarzuckett with the more imposing board right now. Alright, so while both players are doing this real quick, we'll go ahead and take a look at that spoiler that was posted by Imperial Advisor. It's called Lost Papers. It's got Rally, so that automatically makes it good. And it says, after this card is revealed in a province, choose the character with the most fate on it among characters in play, and bow that character. So, nice little anti-tower tech here in the Lost Papers. Certainly helps out the Swarm decks a little bit. We'll go back to this game. And we see that Nobu's first player this time. He's got Yasamura down with 1 fate. He would get bowed if Lost Papers was revealed in the province. Can't use it if you rally into Papers or off Yurt or whatever. Yeah, it has to be revealed, right? And it can't just show up. It's a reaction to being revealed. So the only thing that Zarzuckett buys here is going to be a Brash Samurai on 1. Didn't really have the fate for the Cunning Negotiator, and it's not super important right now. It's, you know, these big political stats are definitely not what you want in this matchup most of the time. Alright, 5 hits on both sides. We're going to see Katana come out pre-played on Yasamura. Yeah, free bow is probably still worth it. Yeah, most of the time it's actually, I mean, it's going to work out in your favor, right? It has rally anyway, so it's probably worth running. I would probably consider running this over season if you're just looking for a rally card to put in your deck. Slam it 3x for sure. Yeah, of course. Rally cards have very little repercussion, right? I don't know what deck wouldn't. I mean, would you still play it with season? I know that there's math out there that some people have done about what is critical mass for most rally. I don't know if this qualifies. Not totally sure. So I mean, it's definitely a rally card you want to choose, right? So it's certainly desirable as opposed to some other rally cards that have been revealed recently that don't really do anything, and you wouldn't want to spend money on them. This card, you can just choose not to use the reaction if it's not going to be beneficial to you, but I think more often than not it will be beneficial. So. Yeah, I mean, like if the choice is between the Akota Reserve Company and Lost Papers, I absolutely go with the Lost Papers every time. I will tell you that the card that I am previewing on Sunday does not have rally, so there's that at least. Alright, so meanwhile, during this conflict right here, we see a bonsai played after Yasumura gets assassinated. So pretty good value from Zarzuckett there. I don't know if he had it last turn or if he was just saving it for this turn, whatever the case was. But a bonsai goes out and this keeper initiates, going to put up to 3 skill. Not enough to break, but it is enough to win. But there's no cavalry characters available for Nobu to sacrifice if you wanted to get an HMT trigger off of this. Still 6 Fate available, so we could see Cav Reserves. We're going to see Strength in Numbers instead, and that's going to push Miyako home. I think Zarzuckett might have drawn a voice now, and maybe he's considering whether or not he wants to use it here. Lion is suffering from a lack of push cards. They could certainly use another one. Hey man, look. I don't disagree with you. I think that's a great idea. I think that Lion should continue to get more push cards because that is the best for all of us. Alright, so we don't see a voice here, but instead we see a Defend Your Honor, and that's going to be Zarzuckett bidding 5. Maybe not, maybe not super necessary to bid that high, but I guess he just really wanted to win the duel. It's going to put him down to 5 honor, which again, you know, honor is not super problematic in this matchup. But after you spend assassinate and you spend 4 honor on a Defend Your Honor, it is something that you need to start keeping your eye on at least a little bit. Hello in chat to Astaroon. Welcome to the stream. Those of you who are just joining, this is in fact Canada versus France. Canada's Cranes are Zarzuckett, Jikoku Dev, Mark Swafferman versus Ide Nobu, the guy in the unicorn hat from Worlds. I do not know his name, unfortunately. I think it actually might be Charles Lafol. Oni no Akura? That is not a card that I am familiar with. His name might just be Ide Nobu. Yes, he does sign up as Ide Nobu, which is interesting. Charles is a joke with the French players. Okay, I see. Alright, so after some consternation there, thinking about what to do after the Defend Your Honor got cancelled, or after the Defend Your Honor canceled the Strength in Numbers, it looks like we're just going to pass. So that's actually pretty fortunate for Zarzuckett. Military attack spent by the Unicorn player without any damage whatsoever, and nothing else on board. So if Zarzuckett has something like Voice of Honor online, then that would be pretty huge for him, because he can potentially stop like a captive audience, or he could stop like a cab reserves, whatever the case is. But either way, he's attacking straight into this rally to the cause, which is now blank, and it is uncontested on the air ring. That'll let him recover some of the honor he spent on Assassinate and Defend Your Honor. So the French players say they all took a name of a past French ruler, from emperor to president. Okay. That's pretty cool. I like that. Air Ring here also gets Zarzuckett a keeper. We forgot that he was keeper of air. But it makes sense. This is the role that you want for these kind of kill decks. We see a Tessin on the keeper initiate. Okay. So this keeper initiate is going to be coming in with 0 strength still. But it is standing, so definitely looks like he's going to go for the captive audience into cab reserves or join the fray play. Meanwhile, these 2 honored characters. Oh no! Okay, we're gonna nip in the bud here. We're gonna see Noble Sacrifice kill off this keeper initiate. So, if for those of you who are keeping track at home, that's 2 kills so far for Zarzuckett. 1 off the Assassinate, 1 with the Noble Sacrifice. Let's see if he can tie his record on stream of 5 kills. And speculation in the chat of what the card is that I have. It could be the Kitsu Daimyo. Yes, Kitsumotsu is not the Kitsu Daimyo. I'm assuming at some point he probably was in the old game, but in the new game, I think we have not actually gotten. Let's see. No, I think I think somebody is saying it was mentioned at one point in time. So. Kitsu Daimyo is clearly Kitsu Spirit Caller. Only if that allows LPB to be the Matsu Daimyo. Okay, and we see now we see an all-in attack here, off of the what is that? The Earth Ring, which hits appealing to the fortunes. Old favorite province of mine. Puts out this MKR, but with no conflicts left, it's just gonna be a broken province instead. So MKR goes to the bin. Earth Ring hits in service to my lord, which literally does not matter. And now Zarzuckett in a pretty good spot. He's first player, and still has a board. Only has 2 breaks on his side, and meanwhile has 11 fate to work with, going into Stronghold against the Unicorn. So, looking at Unicorn's provinces so far, we see a water, we see a void, we see an earth. So, still air and fire left. Most likely, this is going to be Khan's Ardu. So, first we see a Mia Mystic bot for Zarzuckett. And I would expect to see Yasatori for sure. So you want to get Satori out there because he represents the most military stats you can put out against Unicorn. And if you're going to break, you're probably going to have to do it on military this turn, because if you hit Khan's Ardu, all the conflicts for the rest of the turn have to be military. So you lose your opportunity at a political attack. So buying something like Yoshi here would be kind of worthless because the conflict's just going to get flipped no matter what. The 2 honored characters leaving play for Zarzuckett means that Voice of Honor is now off for him, but on the plus side, he also got 2 honor back, so that means that he can bid 5 again safely this turn without having to worry about him dying. Zarzuckett gets the passing fate here, and meanwhile we're going to see Nobu start to buy out his board. I wouldn't call this completely over for Zarzuckett by any means. For Nobu by any means, rather. He can definitely defend this conflict here. And if he has the juice to counterattack, then he would definitely be able to break over the top of Zarzuckett. One of the big questions is going to be, does Zarzuckett have the means to honor himself before something like Cab Reserves goes down? And yeah, it looks like there's a way the crane on the Brash Samurai. That's pretty big. Zarzuckett now representing 6, 7, 8, 12, 13 military strength compared to Nobu's 6, 7, 10. How many Voices of Honor have gone? 0 so far. We have not seen a single Voice of Honor. We've only seen a Defend Your Honor so far. So cancel is definitely available for Zarzuckett. He is on 6 of them total. Don't believe that the deck is on censure, but probably not necessary when you have the other duels, or the other cancels rather. And so we'll see 5-bid here for both players. We already saw the 5-bid rather. Conflict phase though, so Zarzuckett taking some time here. I guess you're trying to think and make sure that if I attack here, you definitely have to be sure that you can break this province. So we see a Soul Beyond Reproach go out on Satori beforehand. That'll let him defend your honor if anything bad happens. Have that online sooner rather than later. 2 fate left over for Zarzuckett, so that's potentially a mark of shame, or if he has some way to dishonor a character in the middle of the duel, in the middle of the conflict, then he could potentially noble sacrifice the Brash Samurai and the character that gets dishonored. That is a pretty big skill swing though, so he needs to be careful about doing that. He might save that for later. 6 cancel, 2 gossip, yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about the 2 gossip also. So definitely definitely some ways to stop Unicorn here. Now, back in the day, this used to be one of Unicorn's worst matchups, at least around Worlds time. But that was a different kind of crane, right? So it wasn't the kill crane. That's the standard mid-range crane with, you know, like your voices on, not your voices on, like your Dragon Splash and your policy debates. And at the time, they also had Toshimoko too. So there were a lot of ways to shut Unicorn down. But things have definitely changed and definitely shifted with changes to the restricted list and changes to the meta, new cards, etc. And so the matchup is probably not nearly as much in Crane's favor as it used to be. And especially for this kind of deck too, right? As I mentioned before. And so Zarzuckett looking to go ahead and close this one out on this conflict. So that's going to be every person going at the Consort. Oh no, it's not Consort, dude. It's Manicured Garden. Okay. Well, that's surprising. So Nobu's going to leave one of these dudes home. Just the Gunso is going to be there. Zarzuckett currently breaking right now without doing anything else. He's at 16 strength and has the ability to pump Satori up to an extra 3 with his ability. Leaving just a non-faded guy at home seems odd on a water attack. Yeah. But at the same time, you know, you have to defend with someone. I don't know. Like you can't not bring Yasamura into the conflict because he represents more skill than Gunso. So like if he wants to leave someone home, then I don't know. It's weird. So we see an assassination come out on the Mia Mystic. That means that we're probably going to see some attachments start coming down here. Yeah, I think in this situation you have to defend with all of them because that one skill could definitely make a huge difference. I'm sure you have some way in your deck to restand at least one of these characters, or at least have a conflict character to make the counterattack afterwards. But leaving the one skill at home is, you know, no bueno. And so Zarzuckett's just going to pass right now because he's winning by 9. That's definitely more than enough to break right now. Only 5 strength to break, with the Manicured Garden being at 4 and HMT only getting +1. Does Barcha work in the battle? Yeah, Barcha needs a unique character, so if you were going to Barcha, then you would have to put it on Yasamura and then move him in afterwards. So long thinkums right now from Ide Nobu. we'll see if he's got anything here. We haven't seen a Cav Reserves. Okay, there's one. Will we see Defender Honor? Will we see a Voice of Honor? And we're going to see a Defender Honor instead. So, Satori and the Gunso. Picking the Gunso here doesn't matter because Satori is big enough to duel anybody. And so we just see a pass from Zarzuckett. 9 cards left. Join the Fray, not going to be the card that will be used here. Okay, so that's why we had to assassinate on the Mia Mystic, is because now there's a Talisman of the Sun, but we have Calling in Favors coming out on the Keeper Initiate to go ahead and steal this Talisman. And I have to imagine that has to be game. Yeah, GG comes out from Nobu. Talisman always going to be that sort of last-ditch effort kind of play. You want to try to defend stuff without spending your Talisman if you can, but because of the Calling of Favors, he's able to go ahead and steal the Talisman, prevent it from going off, and yeah, Canada's going to take this one. So Zarzuckett definitely playing very well right now in this World Cup. He will take it in for Canada. Let's see if this updated with scores for that matchup. No, it did not. So I don't know what the score is currently. At the very least, it's 1-1. But if anybody else in chat has any update on what that is, please let me know. Yeah, he does not have Barsha in this deck anyway, so the Mia Mystic would have been for specifically just this one Talisman. But unfortunately, couldn't get anything going there against Crane, and Canada able to close it out. It is currently 1-1. Okay, cool. Alright, so that's going to do it for the stream. I'm sure I will be streaming other games this upcoming week. But you guys, if you want to tune in and see a card spoiler from upcoming Pack 3, then please tune in this Sunday at, I think what I said 11 Central is what I said. I think I either said 11 or 10. Let me just make sure real quick. Yeah, 11 Central. 11 Central time. So that's UTC minus 5. So if you guys want to see a line spoiler, please come through during that time. We'll be having L5R Lounge on Sunday, featuring Christian, the Unicorn player, the Swedish Unicorn player, versus Inagon, the Greek Crab player. So the players are going to be playing some interesting deck lists that they cooked up, and then we'll talk about the card that we're spoiling too. So make sure to tune in for that, and we'll talk to you later.